former acting CEO Matshela Koko, who still today denies any wrongdoing and refuses to take responsibility. However, in his words, Koko says Eskom is in trouble. But who got Eskom into this state? And why is he claiming to be a hero by saying that there was no load shedding during his tenure? And why is load shedding happening now? He joins us in the studio. Sir, thank you very much for coming.
Good day to you, and good day to your listeners.
All right. Firstly, if one were to say Happy Human Rights Day to you, load shedding is spoiling the party now, and when the viewers at home are seeing you, they are seeing somebody who has allegations pointed at him that he was involved, allegedly so, in impropriety, load shedding, colluding, and so forth, including making arrangements that money should be paid to a company linked to his stepdaughter. What do you say when you are seeing this happening and South Africans have to celebrate Human Rights Day?
Slow it down. Today is Human Rights Day and the stage 4 load shedding. Stage 4 load shedding means 13 million South Africans simultaneously do not have electricity today. I left Eskom in July 2017. In July 2017, Eskom operational performance was the best in the last 10 years. It had 85% energy availability factor, which was a measure of reliability. The coal costs for the first time in 2015, 2016, 2015, 16, 17 were below inflation compared to the 17% year on year. Allegations been raised by many people, belongs to the police and belongs to law enforcement officers, and I will always cooperate with them. But let me tell you, the truth always comes. I will have the last laugh.
The issue here is that you could have had an opportunity to clear your name within the confines of Eskom and, of course, being in a DC. But you sounded very evasive, and every time when you are asked questions about what could have gone wrong at Eskom, you sort of become an outright denialist that you didn't do anything wrong. What do you have to say about that?
You're regurgitating matters that have been dealt with at the court. We are a constitutional state. We're a constitutional democracy. The courts are the final arbiter. My matter with Eskom ended up at the Labour Court. The Labour Court has pronounced. Who are you today to sit here and question what has come out of the court? You are unreasonable. Leave the matters with the court. The court has arbitrated. The court has pronounced. You can't be a denialist and say there was never a court judgment in my case with Eskom.
Well, at the moment, there has been questions that you are claiming that there was no load shedding during your tenure at Eskom.
I'm not claiming, it's a matter of fact.
But then, on the other hand, the people who you were working with, who are those people? And if they are there still working with Eskom, the engineers, why is there load shedding when the expertise was there and you left it behind?
No. Let's slow down again. And I'm going to be slow with you. In my tenure as a chief officer of generation, and my tenure as a group chief executive, there was never load shedding. That is a fact. Go to the Eskom yearbook, you will find that. I was on suspension until 20th of July. Eskom was load shedding. I came back on the 20th of July in the peak of load shedding. I said to Brian, who was the group chief executive at the time, that this load shedding is unnecessary. I've been there, I've done it before, we will stop it. In 2 weeks' time, it stopped. 8th of August 2016, 2015 load shedding stopped. It was never.
What do you have to say about it happening now? And of course, there are allegations of sabotage.
Look, there's a lot of excuses that comes out of the current leadership. I want to make a reference to a gentleman who I respected the most in my tenure of Eskom, and I've been long in Eskom, Alan McRae. He used to say when we were very young, keep the government out of our kitchen. I never used to understand him then, because I thought then he belonged to the right wing and he was anti-ANC. In hindsight, I'm beginning to understand the sense he made. Eskom has to keep, these guys who are making excuses, The government has to come out of the Eskom kitchen. This Eskom of today, I watched Phakamani yesterday. I watched him in the press conference. I watched Chau Mabuza. This is a leadership that lacks confidence, that doesn't inspire. You cannot, after listening to them, say, this leadership know what to do. This Eskom has to, the beginning to start to solve Eskom problem is to regain its confidence. It has lost its confidence. It looks like an abused woman that hopes that the violence, domestic violence, will stop. Eskom seems to be going through a domestic violence.
Mr. Koko, tell me, are you saying that literally there is interference by government at Eskom? There
is interference, negative interference, by politicians who do not know what to do and who do not know what they're doing. They have to come out of Eskom kitchen. The Eskom engineers that I left there, that I know are competent, must raise up their hands and deal with Eskom problem. The issue of sabotage,
tell us about the literal way in which interference is carried out.
Well, you listen to the press conference of Eskom this week. Who did most of the talking? It was not Phakamani Khatebe. It was not the chairman of Eskom. Phakamani could not even articulate Eskom's problems. The person who tried to articulate, who was articulating Eskom problems, was Minister Pravin Gordhan, who, in my view, has got nothing to do. I mean, take Pravin Gordhan's view around Medupi and Kusile. They're saying we've got 4 units at Kusile. They should be by now giving us 3,000 megawatts. Now, let me tell you the engineering science of it. And engineers at Eskom will tell you there is what we call a bath type curve for any power plant. What is happening at Medupi and Kusile is the mortality rate failures that are higher than normal. What is happening at all the Eskom plants is a failure rate reflective of power plants that are old. Both of them, there are maintenance engineering strategies to address them. Dr. Matek of Eskom Engineering came out and said it's going to cost us 8 billion rands. I said to myself, we know what is wrong at Medupi and Kusile. Before I left, we had gone through an analysis with the suppliers to identify what is wrong. It is now quantified at 8 billion rand. I said before I left Eskom, spend 8 billion rands, fix it. Politically, it was not the right thing to do. Now Eskom comes back and says, we are spending 5 billion rand on diesel. So you choose to spend 5 billion rand on diesel, and spend that 5 billion rand to fix the plant, and then move on. This is decisions that are driven by people who are outside Eskom, that are passing the buck, that do not know what to do. I think we need to take the politicians out of Eskom's kitchen. We need to leave the people who know what to do, to give them the confidence and let those people go through what we went through in 2014.
Let's go back to the issue of sabotage. Do you know anything about the companies that are supplying rock to Eskom instead of real coal? We've got the visuals of that rock. We were referring to it earlier in the week, as it will appear on your screen now. Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but let me tell you this. When Eskom contract with any supplier, they've got a quality control plan. That quality control plan has got hold points and have got weakness points. And at every weakness points, there's an acceptance criteria. Now, what you are telling me is that at those hold points, at those weakness points, the quality criteria has not been met. Why is that happening? Because there are people that have been paid to do that. They must be taken to task.
Mr. Koko, when it comes to you taking responsibility for your part, and you know that the SIU has information regarding you with ABB Future having promised them deals up to 6.5 billion rand, and they have got 2.2 billion rand in deals. What do you have to say to that? Because on the other hand, Suzanne Daniels says that you are lying concerning the emails that were being sent. What is your response?
You've raised too many things, and I want to deal with them. I want to deal with both of them. The 2.2 billion rands contract that ABB acquired for Kusile control and instrumentation, the document trails are with Eskom. So Eskom should go to the Hawks and say, this is how ABB got the contract, and this is Mr. Koko's role. Corruption and fraud is proven on documents. And I put it to you, You will not find documents in Eskom that will link me to corruption, that will link me to fraud with respect to ABB. It's a dead matter. The Hawks must do their job. The SIU must do their job. Look at me in my eye. There's no worry. Let's park that. Suzanne Daniels had a hearing. I raised the issue of, she went to Parliament. She never raised the issue of info portal address. I raised it in my hearing. I says, she's lying. She is the owner of that info portal address. She refused. She was charged. Evidence was put to her. In her evidence, under oath, she says, Dr. Ngubane gave me this info portal address in March 2015. That's what she says. And she says it belongs to Mr. Seleke. Of course she lied. And I'm not surprised why Senior Counsel Kasim rejected that version. She accepts to knowing it. She accepts.
Why would Susan say you are lying when you're not?
Let me tell you. Suzanne has admitted to being a criminal yesterday. This is the person you're talking to about here. You are talking about a person who first came up to be the celebrated whistleblower who yesterday says, yes, I must be prosecuted, but I must not be prosecuted alone. Can't you see through her?
Well, Mr. Koko, we don't have much enough time, but every time when you have been speaking all along, South Africans who have raised their voice against the answers that you have been given, that you are complicit in as far as corruption is concerned at Eskom, they say that they don't believe you. They don't take you seriously. Why should South Africans believe you when you say you are not involved in any wrongdoing at Eskom?
So the consequences of corruption should be to increase the cost of doing business with Eskom. Corruption is the enemy of the people. Corruption drives the cost up. But in the years that you describe as a peak of corruption, Eskom cost went down. Eskom performance was at its peak. The coal costs went horribly down, perfectly down, and within inflation. How do you marry the two? The people must look at the facts that you can't have what rampant, and Eskom was looted in my time, but my time showed the best cost reduction. My time showed the best technical performance. My time showed the best cost of coal improvements. My time showed the best performance in terms of... If
everything sounds so rosy, and you didn't do it, who did it?
I don't care. The police must look at that. It's not up to me to do
But in your view, who could have done it?
I'm not interested in that. That's the job of the police. That's the job of the law enforcement officers. I am not trained in that space. They must go and look at the documentation. They must go and apply their minds. The Zondo Commission is there. The Law Enforcement Commission must find them and send them to jail. And it looks like last night they found one of them who confessed. That is the job of the police. It's not my job.
If you could be one of them, would you be prepared to wear the orange overall?
I'm on record that those who have looted Eskom must wear orange overalls.
Are you...
Without fear, without favor.
You're parting short.
I will not wear the orange overalls. I did not steal money. I did not defraud Eskom. I did not participate in corruption.
On a parting short, are you absolutely claiming that you are not involved in corruption at Eskom at
I'm not claiming, I'm telling you. Claiming is something else. I'm looking at you in my eyes. I'm telling you that.
Should we watch the space?
It's up to you what you do. The law enforcement people must do their job. It's up to you what you do. I have no worry in my eyes.
But with the reports that are coming, don't you think the net is closing down on you? And how far and invasive are you going to be?
I don't know what you mean by the net is closing on me. I don't know what you know. I've not been talked to by the police. I've not been talked to by the SIU. So I don't know which net you're talking about. You probably know what I don't know. So I can't respond to that. All that I'm telling you is you're talking nonsense to say the net is closing on me.
Mr. Koko, we shall leave it at that. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us.
You're welcome.
All right, the former CEO of Eskom, acting CEO of Eskom, Mr. Matshela Koko, speaking to us right here on SABC News. We take a break, and when we come back, the program continues.